Okay. I think we have leftover questions.
Yes, Bante. We had a clarification needed from last time, if I remember correctly. The question was about doing a good deed, doing some karma, but what if you have no feeling of joy in your mind? It's not in the chat, Bante, it's from last time. The question was, what if you do something good? But you feel no happiness. It's kind of like a neutral feeling. You have no particular feeling, but you're still doing some good actions. Do you still reap the material gain from this good karma that you're doing, even though you're not really having any happy feeling about it? Does it
Well,
still work to give you punya karma, basically, if you don't feel very, if you don't feel that happy when you're doing good actions?
actually, uh, whoever asked that question, and I think for everybody it is good to know the answer. That is, as soon as you uh, milk a cow, it doesn't turn into curd, yogurt. It takes some time to turn it into curd or yogurt. Similarly, as soon as you do a certain karma, good or bad, it takes some time to mature for you to experience the result. There are certain karmas that you experience the results immediately. For instance, when you have a hatred, hatred is a bad karma. And with this hatred, you say something to someone. That very instant, you experience deep regret, pain in your heart. That is the result. That karma generates results immediately. Most other karmas do not generate results right away. Even some good karmas, for instance, when you have metta, loving friendliness, sincerely you cultivate in your heart, in your mind, that instant you feel very comfortable, peaceful. When you meditate, if you really do your meditation correctly, that instant you experience the benefit of meditation. Meditation is a good karma, bhavana, my karma. And therefore, some karmas, you experience the results right away, and some karmas take time to root. For instance, you observe the 5 precepts, 8 precepts, 10 precepts, and so forth. They take some time to bear their fruit. Uh, Say, for instance, you, in a bad karma, for instance, you kill some beings, living beings, animals, human, and so forth. It might take some time for you to bear the fruit. Sometimes some criminals, they do some robbery, murdering and so forth, and then hide for a certain period. But eventually, they will be caught and prosecuted and punished. But before that, they suffer in their mind as soon as they mutilated, they killed someone. His mind, his conscience tricks his mind. He conscience tells conscience knows that he has done something wrong. That's the result of that particular karma. So some karmas you bear the fruits right away. Some karmas you cannot bear the fruit. Some karmas cannot bear the fruit right away. And of course, karma is a very complicated thing. In I think I can answer this question in some details, but don't have time to answer. Time for one question. There are many other questions, and therefore, uh, if I have time later on, I can go into details, just like in Mahakama Vibhaga Sutta and so forth. There's detail. Uh, then I can give you more detailed answer later on. Let's go to the next question.
The next question is, what kind of efforts should be done to stop bad habits or addiction?
Uh,
So to stop bad habits or addictions, what kind of efforts should one do?
to stop it.
Bad habits.
Effort to should be done to stop the bad habits or addiction. Well, the person must immediately realize, as soon as the person knows that the person is doing something which is addictive and habitual, uh, without which the person feels very uncomfortable, then he must realize this is not my normal, natural mental state that urge me. I have become a slave to this particular behavior. I should not be enslaved to this behavior. That is the beginning. As soon as that he realized this, and then he must seek advice of a good friend, or even sometimes the professional friends. For instance, somebody is addicted to drugs, drinks, alcohol, and even gambling and so forth, addicted. And then they must, if they can do it by themselves, it is well and good. If they cannot, they must seek professional help or see a good friend. Change the habit, to change the habit. Uh, Divert the mind on something else. Build up some wholesome habit, like meditation, like doing social service, social work, going to hospital. There are various places, there are various actions, duties in the society, helping the poor, helping the animals, and so forth and so on. Change the behavior, change the situation. Go to a monastery, go to a meditation center, consult a meditation, and do it, follow his advice. These are things the person has to do to stop these habitual uh, things. Okay?
Yes, Bhante, the next question is it possible to have mental seclusion without physical seclusion? So mental seclusion without physical seclusion.
Well, without physical seclusion, uh, mental seclusion is possible but difficult, not easy. Uh, somehow, some people stay in their own home, apartment, and make arrangement with family members if there are any, partners if they have any, and so forth. While they are there, make an agreement. Now, on this day, this weekend, on this holiday, I want to have my own private, personal meditation practice. And then that is sort of token physical seclusion. And then the person can start meditating, particularly try to overcome hindrances. One can do that. One can do that in one's own home, apartment, and so forth. It is possible. So the person has to make the pre-arrangement with the family members or partners. And that is possible, yes.
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, when striving for enlightenment, how essential is it to have a human teacher?
Human teacher is very important because especially what you call Kalyanamitta, a good friend, anybody who is striving to attain enlightenment, uh, sometimes they can can go wrong. Sometimes people have all kind of ideas in their mind, and they can get carried away with those ideas and might think that they have attained enlightenment. That can be dangerous. Therefore, in order to avoid this kind of uh, red herring dangers, they must have some assistant. A good teacher or Kalyanamita, a good friend, is absolutely necessary in situation like this. Normally, people uh, cannot do all this by themselves unless they are very special, dedicated, and have learned the Dhamma. If they have good knowledge of Dhamma, then they probably, if they could not find good friend, they can seek the help of Dhamma. And then that would help him to continue his practice, even without a teacher. If he has a teacher, that's very good, especially those who do not have very much Dhamma knowledge. It is very essential for that person to have a teacher. So this is not, I cannot, you cannot find an answer that covers everything. This depends on individuals' temperament, situations, and so forth. Okay, next question.
To ask you a question about this. Since yesterday we talked about the attitude one should have towards the teacher. In, for example, the Mahayana tradition and some Zen tradition, there is a great emphasis on the guru and surrender of the guru as a teacher. What are your thoughts about this?
Now, surrendering to the teacher, guru, is in some ways, some traditions, is a requirement. But in Theravada tradition, uh, it is not absolutely necessary, but it's a great help if somebody has a good teacher or what do you call a friend, Kalyanamita. So sometimes if the teachers are not enlightened, they can mislead students. and therefore they have to be very careful. Uh, but it's in, of course, in Theravada tradition also, if somebody is not, as I mentioned, confident in oneself, that person must have a teacher, surely.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
The next question is, are dreams Dhamma Vitako or Dhamma Vicharo? And is it Dhamma Vitako or Dhamma Vicharo to think about something while doing a particular task?
Well, uh, while dreams, when you sleep, you have dreams. But when you are awake, you may have very clear ideas. Uh, these clear ideas related to letting go, vitaka. Vitaka means there are three vitakas, uh, nekkama vitaka, avyapada vitaka, avihimsa vitaka. While you are doing some, engaged in something, you develop the thought of letting go of your greed, letting go of your, practice generosity. Generosity, you want to give donate your time, energy, skill, and so forth. That is the donation, giving up, or generosity. That's the nekkhamma vitaka. And then, uh, while doing any work, you do it with metta, that is avyapada vitaka. Metta, karuna, mudita, upekka, you can work. Then, avihimsa vitaka, while you are working, you think of not hurting anybody. For instance, when you are clearing a land, you wish not to hurt animals in that land. When you do some work, any other work, you have to determine not to hurt anybody. Or if there is anyone in your way who needs help, then you can spend time to help the person. That is called avihimsa vitaka. These vitakas you can cultivate while you are doing any job. It's Dhamma vitaka, uh, Dhamma vichara, as we see in Satipatthana Sutta Dhammanupasana. Dhamma vitaka means thinking of the Dhamma. Uh, Dhamma vichara means examining the Dhamma. uh, so, uh, while doing something else, you can do Dhamma vitaka, Dhamma vichara. Surely. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, are we supposed to memorize the suttas by its name, number, and location, so in the text? Does understanding the meaning and remembering the message in the teaching weigh more? So what?
I see. Yes, uh, you don't have to memorize uh, word by word of suttas, but you have to remember the message in the sutta. The message is more important than remembering words. Uh, in uh, Even when you memorize the message, you have to repeat this message in your mind. For instance, we say vijnana. Uh, uh, I am not clinging to my body. I'm not clinging to my body. You can repeat it in sort of in yourself, for yourself, not out loud, and that would settle in your mind more deeply. And therefore, that kind of recitation or verbalizing would help the person. Uh, and then examine the meaning of not clinging to the body. When you examine that, you will definitely see when you cling, you will have suffering. Any clinging is it will end up in suffering. And therefore, we must think, well, whatever happens to the body, I must take care of it without clinging to it or without rejecting it. Because the body is impermanent, whatever feeling is arisen in the body also impermanent. And therefore, this I did not create this. This is not mine. This I am not. This is not myself. Like that, we have to keep thinking, which are uh, keep thinking, examining. So when you memorize certain things, the message, then you can use that memory of the message to develop and deepen your understanding of Dhamma. Uh, word to word memorizing is difficult for most people because uh, the sutras are all in Pali, and they can, if they understand the meaning very clearly in their language, that would be enough. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is to get rid of clinging to the five aggregates. One needs to see impermanence in each aggregate. How does one see impermanence through meditation? And does one need to see impermanence in all of the five aggregates, or is it enough to see impermanence in just one in order to see then impermanence in all five aggregates?
Well, uh, you have to see impermanence in all the five aggregates because impermanence is in general. If somebody says, well, everything is in sabbe sankhara anicca, all conditioned things are impermanent. If one can incorporate all of them in one thought uh, as impermanent, then that's okay. But most people cannot see impermanence in everything in one shot. Therefore, Buddha advised for most people, of course, somebody who is very highly advanced in meditation and spiritual growth, then thinking of all conditions are impermanent is enough. But most people are not that highly advanced, and therefore they have to go through each aggregate: form, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness. When they go through each aggregate, they can see impermanence more clearly. A form is impermanent. That is why it is changing. And that is why my form is grown. When I was young, my form is like this. Uh, Instead of using my form, it's better to refer to this form, this form, this form. This form was such and such when I had such and such age. This form was such and such and so forth. And then one can see how, uh, with wisdom, uh, one can see one is changed. And now I'm changing. This body is changing now. And then feeling that arises in this body, every instant the feeling arises, it changes. So one can focus the mind on the feeling, whatever feeling the person experiences at any given moment and pay attention to it and see that feeling changes. Perception. We perceive uh, things very sometimes clearly, sometimes not clearly. However, our perception is changing. We can see that. And then thoughts, uh, sankhara, are changing. And then our thought once is arisen, and then slowly fades away. A new thought arises. And that fades away, another thought arises. And so forth, when we see in detail a thought arising and passing away, we see impermanence there. And consciousness, above all, is changing much faster than anything else. And therefore, especially in meditation, if one can see the changes of all these five aggregates separately, individually, it would be a great help uh, to the person to develop the deep sense of impermanence. And therefore, I think it is advisable uh, to go through each of them separately. However, if somebody, there are various ways. Someone understands this very, very clearly, understand one very, very clearly, then that knowledge, that understanding, he can apply to everything else, because everything else is impermanent. And therefore, if one understands of everything, one does understand of many, many things, he understands only of one thing. And by that way, the person can generalize that everything is like this. That is okay for advanced meditators. But those who are not advanced, I think it is better to go one by one. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. The next question is, please advise us on how to live a Brahmacharya life while being a layperson. So to maintain Brahmacharya when being a layperson.
Well, a layperson can practice Brahmacharya life. Uh, they have to make this deep commitment that, especially as an adult, they understand the nature of desire, nature of greed, nature of lust, and the steady state of mind when the person is practicing Brahmacharya life, celibate life. Uh, uh, then uh, even if they are married, both of them agree from now on we practice Brahmacharya life. We can live together as good friends, supporting each other as good friends. We don't have to have any a sexual relationship. We can support each other when one is sick, other person can help the person. When one is lonely, other person give companionship, and so forth and so on. They can have a very good friendly relationship as lay people and practice Brahmacharya life. Yes. Next
Thank you,
question.
Bhante. The next question is about the Sapta Vishuddhi that you described in the Rata Vinita Sutta, the sequence of the seven purifications. Can you please elaborate on the sequence of the seven purifications?
Seven purification is Sila Visuddhi, Chitta Visuddhi, Ditti Visuddhi, Kankha Vitarana Visuddhi, Patipada Magga Jnana Visuddhi, Patipada Jnana Visuddhi and Jnana Visuddhi. These are the seven. Sila Visuddhi, purification of morality. Sila Visuddhi. Then Ditti Visuddhi, purification of views. Then Kanka, with purification of doubt. Chitta Visuddhi, I forgot. Sila is a Chitta Visuddhi, purification of mind, purification of views, purification of doubt, then purification of the path and non-path, and purification of the path, and purification of wisdom. These are the seven. You can find it in Visuddhimagga. And if one want to go to Visuddhimagga, I think it will be very helpful.
Bhante, do you have a recommendation for one particular translation of Visuddhimagga?
Say the question again.
I wanted to know if you have a recommendation for one particular translation of Visuddhimagga.
There is only one translation, very famous translation, translated by Bhikkhu Moli, published by the PTS, Politics Society. And I think after that, nobody else has translated it separately. There's only one translation.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, Bhante. I don't
I
see
think,
any other questions. There's no other questions in the chat.
okay, Jaturi, exactly, that is very true, very good, because we stopped right on the dot. We have half an hour to meditate. Other, here is Visuddhimagga link. Somebody has sent the link.
Yeah.
You can see the link.
Yes.
Okay, this is the path of purification, Visuddhimagga, translated by Bhikkhu Jnanamoli. You can see it online. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
All right. Thank you, Judy, for sending this. Okay, now we meditate. Okay. Okay, friends. That is good enough. Okay. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another, as a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child. Even so, towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness, This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. With this metta thought, let us practice meditation. We have at least 25 minutes. By means of these meritorious deeds, may I never join with the foolish, may I join always with the wise, until the time and attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. With this metta sharing, let us end this meditation session. And I want to share merits with all living beings as we normally do. And I hope all those who are in hospitals suffering from various diseases taken care of by very compassionate doctors and nurses and hospital staffs. May they all recover soon and return to normal life and practice Dhamma, meditation, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. May all doctors, nurses, hospital staffs, may all of them have time to practice Dhamma, meditation, and liberate from samsaric suffering. May all those who have lost their loved ones may still be grieving, and may they be free from grief and practice Dhamma, meditation, and liberate from samsaric suffering. And then may all those who are in trouble spots, in war zones, discrimination, poverty-stricken, and in all these places where they have time to practice Dhamma, meditation, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. And what happened to this? Okay. May all those who are in the northern direction, northeastern direction, eastern direction, southeastern direction, southern direction, southwestern direction, western direction, northwestern direction, up and down. May all those beings there be well, happy, and peaceful. May they all find time to practice Dhamma, meditation, and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. With this, friends, we end this today's session, and we see you again next week. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Everyone
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you, Chaturi, for giving the question.
Thank
Bhau
you.
to sabda mangalanggam.
Terwan
Good
Sarnai.
Sarnai.
Wan sarnai Bhante pinsidda veva.